Mr. Agon, thank you so much for being with Bloomberg TV today.
Pleasure.
The shares of L'Oréal are down as much as 4% this morning after disappointing earnings in North America. Is the makeup boom over?
Oh, first, the shares, I think they will go up again, so I'm not really worried, especially because we published a very good semester. It's our best semester in 10 years. Difficult to do better than that, with an increase of profitability. So honestly, a good set of results. So coming back to your questions, makeup in the US, yeah, it's a bit slow. It's a bit slow. You know that the makeup market for 5 years was on fire. Growing, booming, etc. So everyone could expect that at a certain time it would slow down. It is happening now. It's true that for us it's a headwind because we are the number one by far makeup manufacturer in the US. So it doesn't help, but it's a cycle. It will go away.
Are you seeing any shifts in consumer habits in North America, with people going less to retail stores buying NYX or Maybelline and perhaps more towards your competitors like LVMH?
Not really. We see there are many shifts happening everywhere, of course, and in the US like in every country. But it depends. It depends on the channel. It depends on the type of brands. For example, in luxury, clearly there is less consumption in department stores, more in specialty retailers, more on e-commerce. Mass also is changing. So we're adapting to this very
but
fast.
Not fast enough.
It's okay. I'm not worried. It's also important to know exactly to what you want to adapt, because some things are pretty sometimes short term, and the very important thing is to understand what will be the long-term evolution and to move the business in that direction. Globally speaking, I think we are doing pretty well.
How long do you expect this decline in North American sales to continue?
I don't know. I cannot say. I think that this year will not be easy, but I can tell you that we are preparing for a nice bounce back next year. And at the same time, as you know, we have some extremely good results in other parts of the world. So it's it can't be perfect everywhere.
More generally, the consumer products division, though, is slowing down, 2.7% growth this second quarter. Is this share buyback of 750 million euros not enough to reassure investors today?
Oh, it's not made to reassure investors. It's something that we do every year for 5 years. We, in 2016, 17, 18, 19, and this year, before we made a 500 million share buyback in order to offset the dilution linked to performance shares and everything. So we are doing it again this year, and it happens that the share price has really grown a lot. So this year is 750 instead of 500. So it is just the normal way of doing business.
In your luxury division, which is up more than 12% this quarter, and of course driven by China, are you worried about your over-reliance on this luxury division and on China?
Not really. I think it's our job to go and grab the growth where it is year after year. 30 years ago it was in Western Europe, 10 years ago it was in the US, now it's in Asia. So it's our job. We are a global company, we are everywhere, and our mission and our job for our shareholders is to go and grab the growth where it is. It happens that now it's in China, so we are doing it, and doing very well, by the way, because we are number one in China. We are growing faster than the market. We even accelerated in the second quarter compared to the first one. Pretty good.
But how can you maintain this pace of growth in China in the future? Are you going to invest in new products in China in order to keep this pace of growth?
All the time. We are investing in new products. We are launching new brands. We brought, for example, the new Korean brand that we bought last year, Style Nanda, in China. It's off a very good start. We are investing heavily in terms of marketing expenses in order to recruit new consumers, because in China the best is yet to come. There are hundreds of millions of consumers that are discovering beauty products, luxury beauty products. So the more we can invest to bring them to our brand, the more we're investing for the future.
Are they interested in fragrances more and more in China? Is that, for example, one of your focus? You recently made a lot of acquisitions in this sector, including Valentino, Azzaro, Mugler. Is your perfume division, even though it's not a division, going to become bigger?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's true that China is part of the idea. As you know, China is yet small for fragrances, but there is a growth, 30% growth of consumption of fragrances in China. So, the day when China will really discover fragrances and where Chinese consumers will be fond of fragrances, it could be a huge change for the fragrance business worldwide.
Is this where you're going to find growth in the future, for example, in Asia?
Yeah, that's one thing, but also skincare and makeup. Makeup is underpenetrated in China. Makeup is very penetrated in the US. That's maybe also why there is a slowdown. But makeup in China or in Asia in general is very underpenetrated. I think the ratio of penetration China versus the US is 1 to 10 or something like that. So there is a huge opportunity for the long term.
Does that mean it will still be a driver of growth, able to compensate the slowdown we're seeing in mass market?
Well, first, we don't intend to grow slowly in mass market in the rest of the world. So we really intend to accelerate our growth, thanks to market share gains, thanks to maximizing the opportunities that we have. But beside that, we believe that, again, the potential for growth in China is here to stay. It's true that right now it looks amazing, but there are good reasons for that. Again, these hundreds of millions of consumers coming to the market. We know also that the Chinese economy is more and more in favor of consumption. So there are very fundamental trends that could drive to a pretty long-term growth of the Chinese market.
If there's one you can mention, what is the number one change of trend in beauty you've seen in the second quarter?
No, you don't see a change of beauty in one quarter to the other. Changes happen every 3 or 4 years, so they don't happen from one month to the other. The big change that we have seen in the past 2 or 3 years was the fact that after 4 or 5 years of booming makeup business, makeup slowed down, which is perfectly understandable. But the great thing that happened is that at the same time, skincare accelerated. Skincare growth now is pretty big for the market itself, and we are growing twice the speed of the market. So honestly, it's a great relay.
Do you see any relation to the slowdown of the economy we're seeing in Europe, for example, the European Central Bank adding perhaps more stimulus as soon as September, as Mario Draghi is saying that the economy is getting worse and worse? Is that something you feel in Europe as a CEO?
Not really, because for us, what is more important than the evolution of the economy of the production is the evolution of the consumption. And what is clear is that the consumption in Europe is weak, but has been weak for many years. It's not since last year. It's not down, so that's a positive thing. It's not going down, but it's very slowly growing. It's something like plus 1%. And it's something that we see, I think, in all categories. But at the same time, we are increasing, we are increasing our market shares. We always said that Western Europe, even if we know that it's not going to be a hugely booming market, it's an important market for us. It's a little bit our fortress where we started from, and we want to increase our market share. We are already 3 times bigger than the number 2 player, but the same in the US. We are 2 times bigger than the number 2 player. But it's very important to understand that where there is still a huge reservoir of growth for us is Asia.
In the UK, we got a new prime minister in the person of Boris Johnson, and this increased possibility of a no deal at the end of October. What are the concrete consequences for L'Oréal staff and businesses in the UK?
I think we discussed that several times because for 2 years or 3 years now, we have been discussing this Brexit story.
But it's kind of changing now with this new prime minister because we really expect that there is a possibility of a no deal.
You know, as I explained to you already in a previous time, I think we prepared for all scenarios, including the worst, from day one. By the way, I think we had a good intuition from the first month. We guessed that it could go right, but it could also go wrong. And so we prepared everything to be ready in case of no deal, hard Brexit, whatever. So I don't think it's a good thing, honestly. I regret it, but we are prepared.
Finally, L'Oréal still has a 9% stake in Sanofi. Sanofi is going to have a new CEO, Paul Hudson, very soon. Are you going to be in touch with him regarding your stake, and do you see any changes? What do you expect from him?
But first, you know, as the number one shareholder of Sanofi, I think it makes a lot of sense to meet with the new CEO. So I will leave him some time to get in, and then I would be happy to meet with him maybe at the end of the year to understand the vision, the strategy, the long-term opportunities for Sanofi. And you know, we have been a loyal shareholder of Sanofi for 45 years, I think. So we are still a very loyal shareholder, but at the same time, for us, it's not a strategic investment; it's more a financial one. So for
if
the moment,
the new CEO is open to new discussions about selling your stake in Sanofi, this is something you would be obviously discussing with him.
You know, it's our decision, not his decision. But we will not take this decision except if we have a very good reason, and I'm sure that you suppose what could be the reason.
So what could be the reason?
I'm sure you know. So anyway, for the moment, there is no reason to sell our shares, and so we are very supportive of the development of Sanofi, and we'll do our best as shareholders, as also board members, because we have two L'Oréal top managers as board members to help Sanofi be successful. So
if this reason would be to obviously get your stake back in Nestlé, is that something that we could see with this new CEO at Sanofi?
It's not related to the new CEO of Sanofi. It's related to the decision of Nestlé, and so far nothing new. So we are fine. We have a very good, as I explained, a very good relationship with Nestlé. They are happy with their stake. We are happy having them shareholders. So same for Sanofi. So the world is fine.